Hello, everybody, and thank you all so much for joining us here at Westminster to Washington, the podcast that has us Brits saying to Americans, look, we can take over again just for a little while, just till you get yourself sorted. My name's Matt Johnson. I host a show called The Interesting Times, which is a British show, huzzah! And the person who has the privilege of having the weirdest, most incompetent, lazy, feckless leader anywhere and indeed at any time. And if you haven't guessed at that, I'm talking about Donald Trump. This is not the podcast for you. It's Andrea Bridges-Smith, host of the Phoenix News Network. Andrea, how was your Thanksgiving? And have you got any turkey left over for Christmas?
My Thanksgiving was great, but hot take, turkey sucks, hashtag team sides. Although Austin disagrees with me on this, so we are going to actually publish his turkey recipe on our Patreon. The recipe is unexpectedly violent, but I am told produces a very moist turkey. So how about you, Matt? Have you been giving thanks for things?
You are right. The one thing with turkey is it's dry, isn't it? It's incredibly dry.
So
Yeah.
dry.
Oh, wow.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. Yes. Have I? Well, I actually, we in the UK don't really celebrate Thanksgiving. It's more of a pilgrim pastime, and I just assumed that it was a throwback to the Harvest Festival that we have here in the UK at the end of September.
Ah.
But no, Andrea, according to GB News, of all people, it's down to Keir Starmer, just something else we can blame him for. Yeah, it's basically, you can see on your screens at the moment, it's a press hit job by one Lee Cohen, who finishes the piece with, God bless Trump. And you know what, Andrea? I don't think God had a lot to do with it. Anyway, any update on the Epstein files?
Weirdly, that news story has completely disappeared from the headlines. And folks, if you're ever trying to ride out some bad press, please don't take the Trump approach and commit a war crime just to distract from the salacious allegations against you. Instead you can just fuck off to an island somewhere, okay? No, not that one.
To be fair, that's been the approach of a few presidents and prime ministers, if memory serves, but they didn't all claim to have brought peace to countries that weren't at war with each other. What else you got, Andrea?
So our Secretary of Defense /Wars/Toxic Masculinity, Pete Hegseth, is denying allegations that he committed a war crime. Now, the story here is there was a boat full of drugs, allegedly, off the coast of Venezuela, headed in our general direction. Hegseth ordered everybody on board killed, so a strike was launched. Then after the smoke cleared, they saw two people who had survived and who were clinging to the wreckage. So they launched a second strike to take them out in what international legal scholars are calling a real dick move.
Yeah, or first-degree murder.
Yeah.
So Hegseth, not for the first time, is on the rocks, I'm guessing, right?
He does keep ending up in these sticky situations, doesn't he? So now they're trying to throw an admiral under the bus for this, but it turns out that Hegseth admitted in a book that he had previously told soldiers that he was commanding to disregard legal advice about when to kill enemy combatants, and he also is apparently not a fan of the Geneva Conventions, so kind of hard to believe that he didn't have an itchy trigger finger here.
Yeah, as you say, it's a bit of a dick move. I'll be honest, I can't believe that's the only thing going on, though.
No, we've got plenty of things going on. This just in, the White House appears to be haunted.
Really? By the ghost of Christmas past? Is Trump now saying humbug and, you boy, what day is it? That sort of thing. Sorry, how is it haunted?
It is haunted by Joe Biden's sleepiness. Now we all remember sleepy Joe Biden. Well, Biden may have left the White House, but the sleepiness remains, and now it has taken possession of Donald Trump.
So, Sleepy Joe to Dozy Don, then. What
Yes.
happened? What went on?
So Trump had a 3-hour cabinet meeting this week, which is actually more of a pep rally for him than an actual productive meeting. And at several points, he appeared to doze off while his cabinet members were talking. It's
Yeah,
incredible.
I mean, that is bad, but 3 hours?
Yeah.
Meetings are pretty dull, to be fair.
This is true. This is why, he's got to have that button on his desk where he can get somebody to bring him in a Diet Coke, perk him up a little bit, Little Don Jr., call Don Jr., get a little toot-toot, get through the rest of that meeting,
It's just a boxing glove on a stick, just moving along like that.
Ooh, I like that idea even better. So what about over in the UK? Are any big explosions happening over there?
All pretty quiet. I mean, the news from here, as we spoke about last time, is the budget, and it's had mixed
Oh.
reviews. I described it on my show as a nothing burger, another American expression I'm pinching. But the most extraordinary thing happened even before the budget happened. The OBR, Office for Budget Responsibility, who are an independent organisation that look at what the government is doing with the economy and gauge whether it's going to lead to better growth and stuff like that. Anyway, they leaked the whole budget via email before the Chancellor had a chance to get up in Parliament and make a speech on it. And
Oh.
it was kind of ridiculous watching all these reporters essentially losing their shit over this and saying, "Oh, most extraordinary thing I've ever seen. I've been in politics 40 odd years. I've never seen anything like this." And you're like, "Oh, come on. Not the most extraordinary thing that you remember. You remember Liz Truss and Boris Johnson. I know you do. I mean, sending an email by accident isn't the most extraordinary thing I've done this week. And it's only Wednesday."
Yes, the most extraordinary thing any Brit's ever seen is Jacob Rees-Mogg's raw sexual charisma. But I agree with you. The early release of this seems like, oops, oh well, not that big of a deal kind of a thing.
Yeah, you think so. But the head of the OBR has actually resigned over it. Yeah,
Oh.
there we go. Okay. I did ask about the Epstein's files, and you said, well, no clearer, but we must have gone a little bit further along with them. Sorry, I keep coming back to this question.
No, it's okay. It's all anyone talked about forever, and then everyone abruptly stopped for some reason. So since Congress came together to say that the file should be released, and Trump signed it into law as if that was what he had been dying to do all along anyway, nothing has really happened. It's actually strange how absolutely no new information has been coming out. I'm sure that will change at some point. As soon as people get bored for 5 seconds, which is difficult to do during a Trump presidency, to be fair, they're all going to be like, "Hey, what happened to those Epstein files? Let's talk about that again." So
Yeah.
I don't think that story is going away forever.
I have a theory, which is that obviously nobody knows what's in the Epstein files. That's why we're asking them to be released. But if somebody says something like, what about the Epstein files? We go, oh, interesting. Your name appears in it. And you're like, oh, I don't ask any more questions. Thank you. As soon as somebody brings it up, you can just say, your name appears in it. You go, no further questions. Thank you.
Right, right. There could definitely be some people who are currently in office that are in the files on that list. He was a well-connected fellow, so yeah, that is certainly one possibility. If Mike Johnson's in there, I'm gonna lose my shit.
Yeah, gotta be, right? Yes. Okay. So,
His phone's gonna be buzzing.
in the habitual habit of leaving a more light-hearted story to the end of the show, I thought, Andrea, I would introduce you to one of our more whimsical, festive traditions.
Oh, excellent. Okay, the holidays are upon us. Yes, let's celebrate. I assume, since you are a Brit, you're about to tell me about the existence of something called like Eel's Uncle, which inexplicably features baked beans.
Wait, how do you know about that? That's crazy. I mean, I wasn't going to bring that up. Obviously, that's ridiculous. We don't celebrate that till March, but I want to talk about more of a Christmas tradition that we've got. So,
Okay.
every year since 1947, the Norwegians have sent us in the UK a Norwegian spruce. The,
Okay.
the tradition actually started in 1943 when a Norwegian commander made his way to London, having chopped down two smaller Christmas trees. One was given to Norway's King Haakon VII. I don't know what happened to the other six. You'll have to catch up on that in your own time. Anyway, he was in exile in Britain. And the other was put up by some Brit and Norwegian soldiers in Trafalgar Square, a tradition, as I say, that's been continued to this day.
Well, that sounds nice. Like,
Hmm.
here, I brought you some vegetation. Let's put it up where everyone can look at it.
Yeah, let's stick some lights on it. Yeah, there we
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
It's now past a tradition where we stopped putting them up in Trafalgar Square and now started electing them. There we go.
There
All
you
right.
go.
So, invariably, when we're talking about showing cooperation and goodwill between countries, there will be those on the right who will attack it. Of course, it's what they do. I mean,
Right.
Norway may have their trolls that live under bridges, but we have online ones that live online. So It's not just them through the press, though. It seems to be taking a depressing delight in having a bit of a dig at this. I can find headlines every year since 2019 saying how depressing it is and, how awful all the trees are that they're sending over. And I've no doubt it goes back even further.
So what is upsetting people about a tree? Like, how do people have time to be upset about this? What is so bad about this tree?
Yeah, yeah. All right. You need a bit more. You need a hobby, don't you, really?
Yes,
Okay. So,
yes.
for clarification, it is a gift from the city of Oslo celebrating the cooperation defeating fascism in Europe.
Ah,
And yes, sometimes it will look a bit sort of threadbare. It will look like some of the branches are missing, a bit lopsided, that sort of thing. But commenting on its lack of pine needles is frankly absurd, petulant, and also I can't believe I have to say this. It also doesn't mean we're at war with Norway if they send us through a rubbishy-looking pine tree.
yeah, that'd be pretty big news if you went to war with Norway.
Yeah, you like to think so, right? Yeah, as I say, it never looks its best when it arrives. It looks flat, they've been rolled up, and that's how it's travelled over here.
Right.
Until they've had a chance to spruce, no pun intended, it up a bit. They do things like take some branches off different parts of the tree and hammer them in at different points. So there have been comparisons with the Rockefeller tree. Yes, the Rockefeller tree is bigger, isn't everything in America? And it does look better, but it's worth mentioning that one has already been up since November the 8th. Ours arrived, I think, to start the week.
Yes, for us, I think next year we're gonna start putting the tree up in August, and the ice skating rink's just gonna be a swimming pool, so we're
Oh,
just
what
gonna get
am
ahead of
I
the
the
game
only
on
one
that.
that's thinking that's not a bad idea? I tell you what, the amount of moaning, maybe I've been too quick to not Thanksgiving or say that we don't really celebrate it, considering how many ungrateful people there are in this country. So let's be thankful that we have something that celebrates Christmas and our collective history. After all, isn't it good Norwegian wood? I was so determined to get that line in somehow.
And you did it! Great job. I actually, read something about the Rockefeller, Christmas tree this morning.
Mm,
The story behind this year's tree is that, there was this family, I don't remember exactly where, somewhere in the Northeast, and they had this giant tree, and they always dreamed of having it be the Rockefeller Christmas tree, and then, the husband died a few years ago, and, so this year they were able to get that tree to be the tree, and so they're
wow.
they're kind of, like, fulfilling their lifelong dream, so it's a sweet little story.
That's an amazing story, yeah. Christmas.
Yeah.
You just know Trump's gonna try and ruin it somehow, but let's not let him, right? Let's not let him, people. Let's all celebrate it together.
Exactly, exactly. We're going to be jolly and merry from now on, okay?
Yeah, yeah.
Now that's all we've got for this week, but we are going to be back soon with another episode. In the meantime, please head over to Matt's channel, The Interesting Times, for all things UK news. And for more from the US side, you can join us live here on Thursday at 6 p.m. Central Time to discuss whatever nonsense we're up to that day. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.